right, Ryan. It's your favorite sports podcast back one more time. Just one more time. This is the last show ever. This is it. We're ending our reign of terror on a high note tonight. All right. The hashtag Teams Durfs coming out early already.
Coming out early, coming out strong.
Yeah, real strong coming out of the gate. We have a great show on this award-winning podcast on and off the field with Durf and Dylan, and we cannot wait to get started. So we're really not going to wait. That's just kind of the facts of the matter. This segment is brought to you by Stefan Diggs. Make sure you floss, anyone that's out there, whether you're listening to the live show right now, the podcast later, whatever the case may be, make sure you're flossing, which is follow, like, observe, subscribe, and share. Anything on and off the field related. Durf, give them the scoop.
Oh, I got the scoop right here for you. Make sure to follow, like, observe, and share on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as subscribing to our YouTube and our Twitch channels, which we are currently live on, all by searching at OOTF Podcast. Make sure to click the link in the video description to get all the other links you need for this great show. Make sure to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, so we know how we're doing and what you like or dislike about this award-winning show.
You set your Alexa off or something?
I said Siri was apparently listening on my Apple Watch, but I don't know. I didn't press a button or anything, so that was weird.
Siri's got a mind of her own.
It was like I glanced down before I shut it up, and it was like this long paragraph of literally me talking about flossing.
She heard floss. She's like, all right, you want me to buy you some floss? And then you didn't stop talking. She's like, now I don't know where you're at. Did you have a good birthday, Durf? Real quick. We all have to know how your birthday was, obviously. It was a fantastic weekend.
Oh, yeah, that was a great weekend. So much fun. I think literally my shoulders hurt, like my clavicle shoulder area literally hurts from laughing so hard all weekend. Like literally laughed so hard you couldn't talk. It was so much. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know you were there and a couple of other of our buddies were there, so that was a blast. Finished off the weekend with some golf, which was good. We all were terrible, but it was fun.
Terrible day. Terrible day of golf.
Terrible in the rain and windy, but
we were there.
Yeah, we were there. We did it. It
was a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I need to get with the wife's going to get with Emily, your wife, and talk about how I'm supposed to get more of those cookies that you had made up. Big boy here needs more of them cookies because those things were amazing.
Oh, the ones, the cutouts?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, we got to work on that. Want me to watch on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch? I don't care. You watch from wherever you want. We're not really picky at this point in time,
Whichever.
But you can watch on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Whatever your heart desires.
The option's there for everyone. You know how we feel about this freaking place. You're kind of stuck here. Oh, you mean for Facebook? Oh, yeah, I know. All right. Twitch just crashed. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
No.
Jets, TJ, how you doing? L Stud, what's going on? Added floss to your shopping list. Yeah, Siri is doing her own thing. Yep. Happy belated birthday from L Stud. And this kind of story, we pattered. Oh, God. Why do we invite you to the show? All right. We have an amazing guest for this show.
Oh, yeah.
I will let her introduce, a lot of herself to everyone. So I don't end up doing anything incorrect on my part, just so everyone knows I don't have a communications major. So, I do my best here on and off the field, but I'm far from perfect. Everyone is well aware of that. So we're going to bring on our special guest, Isabell.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Like we should be thanking you. I sent the DM in hopes that you would respond, and we were blessed with your presence.
Yeah, my last name is really funny for you. Maybe some of you seen my last name. It's Burger for you, but in Germany it's called Burger with an U. So it's kind of difficult for you to pronounce, but it's a really common name. And yeah, I hope you will hear it in the future more often.
That's kind of our hopes as we get started here. I mean, do you want a shot at that last name? Do you think you can do it? You're a smart guy. I don't know how cultured you are, though.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that the pronunciation correctly.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if you were like familiar with German speak or not. I didn't know. I know you're a smart person, but I'm not smart. Far from it. So the reason we kind of brought you on is because I was fascinated by what I saw on your Instagram profile. Is the fact that, you play women's tackle football over in Germany, maybe Sweden as well. But the real part that caught my eye was that you're actually making it your goal to play in America. So if you just want to start out, kind of where your football journey began, how you really got started playing football.
It started, I did track and field for 8 years, and my track and field team has disbanded, and I was like, shit, I want to sprint and I can't anymore in a team. And my dad was like, okay, we have a local team here. Maybe you should try American football. It would fit to you. And I was like, okay, when I can sprint, I can try it. So I went there, first practice, and I caught the football fever. And you should know, I didn't know what American football is, because American football isn't so common in Germany. I saw maybe 1 or 2 games a year before I tried it. And I knew what offense is, and I knew what a defense is. That's it.
That's all you need to know. That's a great start. One scores points, one doesn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I fall in love with the game since then.
So at what level are you at right now? Would it be is it a league that's over there, or is it just like kind of like there's a couple teams that just like to get together and play? What's it considered?
We have 2 divisions, Division 1 with 11 players on the field, and Division 2 with 9 players on the field, because how I said, it is not common in Germany, so we don't have as much players. So in the second division, we play only with 9 players on the field. And I played with in the second division, because I'm from the south in Germany, and we don't have big cities here, and the people are more outside in the mountains, and yeah.
I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier, and you said you grew up on a farm. I mean, it seems like you're just kind of were ready for football. You did that hard farm work. You're ready to go out there and just lift some people up and smoke them on the field. That's the feeling I get.
Yeah, and that's why my dad said, I think American football is something for you.
And I've been watching a lot of your the videos you put on your Instagram, working out harder than I've ever worked out in my life. You're over here doing pull-ups and flipping tires, and man, I wouldn't want to get in your way.
Yeah, that's kind of my job. I did an apprenticeship for a fitness coach or personal trainer for 3 years. So I'm in the fitness. Yeah, I'm into fitness as well, because that was my dream job before I came to football, and now I can also make it to my job, and that's my life is perfect right now, because I achieved my biggest goals, and now I take another one step by step.
I mean, that's you've accomplished what you wanted at this part in your life. You're playing football. You're in a fitness industry. That's amazing that you know at this point you look at yourself and say, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish and I'm at where I want to be at right now. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was always a person who knows what I want, or I always know what I want, and I work hard for it so I can achieve it.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, we have goals too, but we don't work hard. We just kind of look at the goals and they're like, yeah, that'd be nice one day.
Maybe you should then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Durf. We got to get on top of this stuff. Let's go, man.
All right.
I'm all motivated. I'm all pumped up now. Come on. So I had there's a couple teams on your profile. I want to make sure I get right. Well, I probably won't get the pronunciation. One was the Comets in Germany. Another one was the Ladies of Black Knights in Sweden. So have you played for one before, one that you're with now?
I played 2 seasons for the Comets. And then last year I wanted also to play for the Comets, but then, COVID hit and the season was canceled. And then I was like, okay, I will train hard for my team in America, in San Diego. And then I got an offer from the Black Knights. And within 1 week, I had to decide if I want to go to Sweden. And I spoke with my bosses and asked if I can have 6 weeks of holiday. And they said yes, because they wanted to support me. And within 1 week, I flew to Sweden and played there for 6 weeks. We are the vice Swedish champion. And unfortunately, we lost the final, but It was one of the best experiences I ever had.
So close.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is very cool, though. So just to recap, you're living your dream jobs, and you're playing football. You're in the fitness industry, and then all you had to do was talk to your bosses, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can have 6 weeks vacation. Sounds great. Have fun."
Yeah.
I might be moving. Hold on. Like, wait a minute. I need to reevaluate some things.
Yeah, they know how important football is for me. And in 2019, I also went with the Europe Warriors to Mexico to play against the Mexican national team. Europe Warriors is a team from players from all over Europe, one of the best also. We lost the game, but it was also an amazing experience. And since then, I had the goal to play in Sweden and in the US. And
so I guess
they knew, because my locker room at work, I had a paper and I wrote Sweden and the US with my goals on it and put it over my locker. And so they knew.
I can't imagine they wouldn't be able to let you do that. That's one of your goals. It's great that they did that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I'm really glad and grateful that I could go and live my dream.
So that's one dream down. We still have another dream to go, right? Because you got your eyes set on the San Diego Tridents. Now, is there a reason for the Tridents, or have they reached out to you before? Or is this just kind of what you want to do?
I reached out to them or to different teams in the WFLA, and I said to them, I'm interested in playing for them because it's my dream. It's all I want. And at the end, I decided to go to San Diego because I think they're really professional, but I also wanted to live at the ocean. It was also a dream to live once at the ocean, and now I
can't blame you. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
San Diego's got a little bit of sun.
And my gut feeling said I should go to San Diego, so my gut feeling is always right, and so I chose San Diego.
hardworking team. You get to live in the sunshine, the second sunshine state over there. I guess it'd be Florida would be the technical one. But you get to live by the ocean. It's beautiful there. I can't argue with that decision. It's better than playing with some team over in North Dakota or something, where it's winter 11 months out of the year. Don't want that. No thanks.
I have snow in Germany enough.
Yeah, we're trying to get away from the snow. Let's move on. Durf, you got any questions before I gotta move on?
No, I think I'm good right now.
I just want to make sure I didn't, I don't want anything clawing at your head like, man, I wish this guy would let me say something.
No, I can't think of anything right now. I think it's just been just great to hear the story right now.
How many? I'm curious because you said the team sizes. There was the one division with 11, one with 9. I mean, how has NFL been introduced over in Germany at all? I mean, is it just kind of like there's a game on here and there? Maybe the Super Bowl at the end of the year is only one.
It's really different. So we have GFL for the men. It's really big, one of the best leagues in Europe. And so they're really big. They are sometimes on TV too. And so the ladies said, okay, we want to play also American football. And so they, built the team up. And I was in the second year. I started in the second year of the team. So it was my first game was the first win for our team. Then because,
I'm sure you had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Scored all the points, did everything.
Not every touchdown, but I think 1 or 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
What's your Instagram name? Because if you go to your profile, there's actually a link to your highlight reel in there.
Isabell Burger. It's my name. That's my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want everyone to make sure they know where to go,
and
so then they can watch that highlight reel.
Yeah, I have also I played 3 seasons, and all of my highlights are on Instagram too. So they don't have to go to the website. They only have to go to my Instagram page.
There you go, folks.
Oh, very nice.
I'll be sure to let everyone know that afterwards as well. We'll make sure people make it over there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No problem with that.
Thanks.
I was just scanning over here real quick. So I don't how familiar are you with NFL, with everything that happens, not even just American football in general, but everything that happens in the off season? Because we have the NFL draft coming up. I'm not sure how familiar you are with that whole process.
I'm sorry, I'm not so into the NFL
okay.
Because I had to work always Sunday in the evening, and only then it's I can only watch then American football. But in Sweden, I watched it a little bit with my teammates, and I think it's interesting. I watch it sometimes on YouTube too. Some plays, what they do, especially the running backs.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite running back that you know? Even a favorite team or favorite running back that you always see a highlight of? You're like, God, I love that person.
I don't really have a favorite team, but I like LA Chargers because how they play and the uniform, I think.
The uniforms are snazzy.
Oh, yeah. They have some good uniforms down there.
Yeah. Definitely. And Derrick Henry is really good.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing a little bit. He's pretty good. He's a mountain. Is that kind of is that how you kind of play as well? Is that why you're drawn to him? You just kind of charge right up the middle and you just knock anyone out of your way that's in the way?
Yeah, the people in Sweden said to me they impressed of me because I'm not afraid of going right into it. So yeah.
I mean, if I start a women's football tackle, you can be on my team. I mean, you'll be my first overall draft pick. I got to get this league started. So.
Yeah.
So I get to get a little off sports real quick. I know you said you're big into fitness, but we are not. That's why something we focus on this show is a debate that we have talked about this entire year. All of 2021, this has been a debate that has just every single guest has had their opinion on this. Every single person that we always have listening to our shows live. It's a very big deal, but this is our first time we've had someone from another country answer this question, so I'm very interested. Pie or cake?
What's the difference between pie and cake?
So I guess the big difference would be the shell, because when you have pie, you have your shell on the outside. Normally something on like the crust on the top, and it's in a pie shell on the bottom. And cake is usually, would be just the frosting on the outside or whatever else you have. That's just kind of like cakey layers or whatever.
I'm definitely a cake fan. I love cake. Maybe you know that German is famous for our breads and cakes. So I'm definitely a cakes fan.
I had a feeling. If I had to put money on a bet of which one it would have been, I would have bet cake. So you're also on Durf's team. He's a big cake person as well.
Yeah, I'm a cake person.
I like my pies personally. I don't know why.
You can have so different cakes. You can have one with chocolate or yeah.
Is that your favorite kind of cake?
No, not really. I can't explain it in English what my favorite cake is because it's so difficult, and my English, I'm not fluent in English, so maybe in the future I can explain it to you, but at the moment it's a little bit difficult for me.
If you send a message to the Instagram page we've been talking to you through, whatever the name of it is, or even a picture, we'll post it alongside so people know what they should be going for. If they ever go to Germany, they know what cake to get, because this is Isabell's favorite cake.
That's a deal.
So we really appreciate you coming on. I mean, this was a blast of a conversation. We learned a lot. We just love tracking this journey, and we will continue to track it as well. And as soon as you get on that plane over to San Diego, hopefully soon, we'll be tracking that for sure.
Thank you so much.
And is there anything else that you want to leave our fans with? Just something that you want to let them know? Any more final information? How to find you? Like we'll put the Instagram in there, but just anything that's you want to tell people.
Go achieve your dreams. When you believe it, you can do it. That's all I have to say. Believe who you are, who you want to be, or who you want to be, and go for it. I'm a girl from Germany who will go, or I'm going to play in the US, American football. It's your sport. And so if you can dream it, you can do it.
It's 2021, folks.
Yeah.
Wake up and absolutely. Well, thank you again so very much, and I really hope we get to talk to you again in the future soon.
Thank you so much. I hope to.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're back.
There we go.
That was a great talk. I mean, that defied my expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, you brought up the GFL.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one. I knew there was like an NFL Europe that, like, Bill's history, like Fred Jackson came from there. Like, he came out of Division III college, went to NFL Europe, play. I don't know who you played for. I don't even know if the NFL Europe exists anymore. They literally could have disbanded.
Might be the GFL now. Yeah,
it might be the GFL. Like maybe like now you have these European countries like doing their own thing. But yeah, that was how we've seen that crossover from players that are either rugby players or we've seen a lot of soccer players coming over as kickers from Europe. But no, I think it's great that we're getting the diversity that I think we need in the NFL.
Yeah, I go back to this all the time. Maybe not all the time, but whenever we get on this topic, is the first thing that always comes to mind is you have the NBA, and half of the NBA draft are players from not even just European leagues, but like China leagues and like there's just leagues all over the world.
Oh yeah,
and the NBA is drafting players from all over the world,
right?
And I realize the NBA has a much bigger impact globally. For some reason, they have made that sport global, and everyone knows about it. Everyone knows about basketball. Everyone knows about the NBA. The NFL has not been able to successfully do that.
Yeah,
and I know they're trying as of late. They've had games down in Mexico. They're trying to get into China. They have
they did the London games. Yep.
So I think they're trying, and maybe we get there someday. But it's funny because Isabell brought up the fact that they don't hear a whole lot about the NFL in Germany, but then vice versa, we don't know anything about the GFL. So it's like, how do we not in this day and age? I guess you have to search for the information, but
right.
Yeah, it's just I had no idea that was out there. And the NFL and GFL, I'm sure maybe they do somewhat work together behind the scenes, but I don't know why it's not out in the open. Exactly.
I mean, I think another thing, that maybe these, NFL social media platforms that we're seeing, including us. I mean, we definitely have reached out this year to a lot of different, organizations and, the women's football leagues. And, now we're, talking with someone from across the country, across the world. But like everything's so much about the NFL in the US. And I think, other sports you hear about other leagues. Like, I remember last year, as soon as the pandemic hit, we were watching the Korean Baseball League for 3-4 months. And like, because the MLB was shut down, why did we not do that for a different kind of football league? There was like the Australian football. I watched that a few times. It's like a cross between rugby and the NFL, with really high scoring, which is very interesting.
I remember that. I remember that for like a glimpse. That lasted a very short period of time, but there was highlights of it.
So when we're in the off season of the NFL and people are like clamoring on for football stuff, why are we not like, promoting that kind of, why are we not worldly promoting like other organizations that do the same stuff as the NFL? Like, I know like right now there's all the other sports going on. So like, they're, social, like news medias are going to, like sports media is going to saturate, their content with that right now. But like, maybe I think we need to be a little bit more diverse in here. Like, as just a whole, like not just, obviously we do what we can, but
on and off the field doesn't have a large reach yet.
Well,
definitely try.
Right. But I mean, like national sports media, like why are they're limiting themselves, and then you get 6 hours of 12 different shows of the same content.
Yeah, for 6 hours on repeat. Did Fernando Tatis Jr. cheat by looking at the pitchers by the catcher's mitt? No one cares. I can almost guarantee you no one cares.
Right.
But that's the kind of time slot that can be filled with bare minimum, just shows like E60, like create some kind of docuseries where you have the chance to learn about sports in foreign countries.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's a large market for that because I know I am.
Yeah.
I struggle through baseball and basketball and hockey seasons. I just want more football. And it's awesome because I still follow Lois Cook from my interview. Follow her on social media. Her league, which I believe is the WFA, Women's Football Alliance.
Yep.
Like their season is starting in like less than like a week and a half, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Like May 8th is the first game. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I might have to reach out to her to figure out where to watch it because I don't know if ESPN will be playing that, but I'm all in. Let's watch some football, man.
Absolutely. So
great interview. Learned a lot, and we're going to continue to educate ourselves. Maybe I'm telling you what, Durf, maybe this will be the, right here, right now, this will be the official sports page for foreign leagues.
Maybe we instead of the other sports, it's the other football.
Ooh, telling you what, we're brainstorming live on air. It's a good idea. Let's keep doing that. But until we do that, we should probably turn our attention to the other sports. So, Madison Bumgarner. I just want to get your opinion on this real quick.
Okay.
Because I don't even have an opinion. I don't know. Madison Bumgarner threw a no-hitter, but he threw the no-hitter during one of the 7-inning doubleheader games. So, do you consider Madison Bumgarner a no-hitter pitcher in a 7-inning game?
So, I've seen the rule. I've seen the rule posted on social media.
Oh, there's an actual rule?
There is a rule that says the only time during a doubleheader that it would count is if it goes to extra innings because it's 7 innings. Which to me, that's like complete BS.
Yeah.
Like this is a game that counts against the record for the team to, move up or down in the standings. So why would that not count?
Right. I don't understand why it wouldn't count. Just because how old is the MLB rule book, you think? Hundreds of years old.
I would say at
probably
least 100
things
years.
If you read through that book, there's probably stuff still in there written with like a feather and a ink, like a quill. Like that's just baseball's just an archaic sport, and so are its rules.
Yeah.
For some reason, this is why it's called other sports, because I might be talking out my ass here. I feel like 7-inning doubleheaders are relatively new. Like they haven't done 7-inning doubleheaders forever, obviously. Like within the past decade or two, this is new. So that means your rule book isn't really up to date to show that. I mean, you said the rule is like, well, it's only 7 innings, so it doesn't count. You have to go to extra innings. It's a game.
Right.
You decided as a league that you're going to do a 7-inning doubleheader. That is a game. If you throw no hits in the game, it's a no-hitter.
Exactly.
It might be a weaker no-hitter, but it's a no-hitter nonetheless.
Right.
You just have to accept that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it being a no-hitter.
Well, I feel like the 7-inning doubleheader, I only recall it from last year when, they're trying to squeeze games in.
Right.
I mean, unless that was like the normal thing for doubleheader was 7 innings.
It was. I just don't know when they made the rule.
Pre-COVID.
Or how new it is. Yeah.
But it's still, like you said, it's a game. It's a game that counts against the record. So that counts. So, you're saying, I'm trying to think of something from the other side of the baseball perspective here. Like throwing a no-hitter would be similar to something like what's batting, but I'm not sure. Like
throwing a perfect game as a quarterback. Like you complete all your passes, but only through 3 quarters.
Right.
I mean, that's not a full game though. If the NFL had double headers and it was only 3 quarters, then it would still be a perfect game of passing.
Right.
I guess technically. But it's not a full game, so it is a bad example. It's hard to come up with an example for that.
Yeah, it's a little
because it's its own
tricky.
Special thing. I don't think any other league really does double headers like that. But
yeah,
we're going to consider it a no hitter on this podcast.
Definitely,
Madison Bumgarner, congratulations! You threw a no hitter. Shohei Ohtani is quite the son of a gun. Everyone's just following him extremely closely. Last year, or the year before, whatever his first year was, he had some injury problems. He didn't really get his full showing, but the hype around him was a lot of hype. He plays for the Angels, obviously. He's a pitcher and a batter. Like, he just pitches as a starting pitcher, and he bats in, like, a normal rotation. Like, he doesn't do, like, a special pitching thing. Like, he's just there. He's in the lineup.
Right.
So he struggled a little bit early against the Rangers last night, but ended up only allowing 4 runs, struck out 8 batters. He scored 3 runs and drove in 2 more. So he's obviously doing pretty well for himself, but it's early in the year. The question remains, should he continue to try and be a starting pitcher and hitter, which really the only other time this ever happened in Major League Baseball history was with Babe Ruth.
Right.
Or should he just focus on one? Because it kind of seems like he's a better hitter than a pitcher. So if he just became a hitter and just, maybe he was like a bullpen pitcher instead of a starting pitcher, should he just stop trying too hard? It's basically what I'm asking.
I mean, I think if he is at least good at it and, is worthy of a starting pitcher, I mean, I say go for it. I see the point where saying, well, if he just focuses on one, then he can be like an all-star at that level in that one. I don't know. Let him have fun. Let him do his thing. Let's make the MLB different.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to sit here and be like, no, he has to be traditional. He can only do one. I'm just worried about him down the road because he did get injured in his first season. And then last year was a COVID year. I think he was still hurt. I didn't remember him even playing last year. Mm-hmm. So this is like going to be our first. He started this season. Let's see how far he can get. If he's a starting pitcher, but gets something happens when he's base running, hurts something,
right?
And now you're down a pitcher and a hitter. That could hurt for the Angels in the long run.
It could, yeah.
So do the Angels look at him and go, man, we're gonna have to like slow you, like especially as the season goes on. Right now, I'm sure they're not worried about it, but once you hit like one game, like game 140, if you're looking at a playoff spot, we gotta be like, if he goes down, we're gonna be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious. It's something to keep an eye on. It's a question that I saw got popped up on some other shows, so I thought I'd bring it up here.
Yeah, definitely.
I was curious. Because he's definitely an interesting prospect, that's for sure. Pitching and hitting.
No, definitely.
Oh my God, I gotta bring this up real quick. Sorry, there was like some high school kid that was a starting pitcher, and he was throwing with both hands. He was one of those ambidextrous pitchers.
Oh, either or, not both at the same time.
Oh no, yeah, no.
I was
like you throw left-handed, then like switch up, and he can throw left-handed and right-handed. Yeah, he's throwing with both hands. He's like going overhead.
Not like bowling, like you're putting your bowl with 2 hands.
Yeah, he's like granny rolling the ball to the mound. Yeah, they're like what the granny shot in basketball. Like that's what he's doing. No. They posted a video of him like doing warm-ups, and he was throwing left-handed and right-handed pitches, and people were losing their minds. Mm-hmm. This is not new. I want to make that perfectly clear to people. Like people were like legitimately like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. He's not the first one to ever do it. And some of the other people to do it. And maybe he's different. Maybe he can successfully do it for the rest of his life and become like an all-star pitcher doing this. Mm-hmm. All of the other ambidextrous pitchers that I've seen, especially in Major League Baseball, do not last very long. Because that means they're okay at left-handed pitching and they're okay at right-handed pitching. They cannot do both at an all-star level.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. One of them was with the Athletics. He was in the Mariners division, so I saw him very often. Mm-hmm. He's just okay. It's cool.
Yeah.
So because the whole point is for him to be in your bullpen. So instead of having to like waste another pitcher to come out, oh, he's left-handed batter, so I have to like switch out this guy and bring in a new bullpen guy. He can just be like, all right, switch hands, bro, and you're standing there for like another inning or two. Like, that's the purpose, and it's very helpful in baseball. Mm-hmm. But unless the guy is crazy good at both, which they usually aren't, it's hard. So I just thought I'd bring that up. I didn't even put that in my notes. I just remembered it right now. Oopsie whoopsie. So let's get into the NFL real quick as time dwindles down here. We got to get to your draft, so let's try and blow through some of these. These aren't really important things anyways. NFL's slow this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric Flowers, offensive guard, was traded from Miami back to his original team, the Washington football team. They're basically just swapping late round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Miami gets a little bit better of a pick. So who cares? Really, all that matters is Miami saving $8 million in cap space doing this move. And instead of paying $9 million in guarantee money, Miami only has to pay $3 million, and Washington will cover the other $6 million.
Right.
So they save roughly $12 million. Only $8 million against the cap. They have to dish out the other $3 million. They'll be fine. They're rich people. And then Washington gets to add an okay player back to their offensive line.
Yep.
It's a good move. You know.
Well, it's a start in the right direction for Washington. So, you know, I think it's only it was 240 something and 250 something were the picks. So it's really just at that point in the draft, you're just throwing a dartboard with NFL draft prospects and okay, is he available? Okay, we'll draft him.
Yeah, you still probably have 5 to 10 people on your board. You're just kind of which one? Yes. We've gotten a couple running backs already, offensive line. Let's get the corner. Who cares? We'll see what happens. Unless you draft a Tom Brady that late, who knows? Yeah, it's crazy. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
In other big news, Sean Lee has finally retired. Cowboys linebacker Sean Lee has finally said, "You know what? I should probably quit before I actually just die on the field." He retired alongside with Steelers offensive tackle Marcus Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the league for 10 years. You probably know his name, but it's not as big a deal. But with Sean Lee, I mean, this guy, it's whenever you played the Cowboys, at least whenever the Seahawks did, I always went, is Sean Lee playing today? If the answer was yes, I'd be man, this is going to be a tough one. Running game's going to struggle. And if he wasn't playing, okay, we'll be okay today. Things will be good. He made a huge difference to that defense, but he just was almost never on the field. He made Pro Bowl twice and first team All-Pro once, I think in 2016, but the dude could not stay healthy. Between, I think it was 11 seasons he played.
Yeah.
In his first season, he played 14 games, and then 15, and then 6 games, 11 games, 0 games in 2014, I believe. 14 games the following season, 15 games, 11 games, 7 games, 16 games, and then 9 games last season.
So he had one full season.
One full season.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That is tough. I know. I think he had a lot of back issues.
Lots of spinal stuff. He had a couple things with he recovered from his neck injury, his little stinger, and then it's and he re-hurt it.
Yeah.
A lot of concussions.
Yeah. He was a big name when he came out of college and went to Dallas, and definitely he was definitely if he was on the field, Dallas had a better defense, and I think they've been trying to replace him for the last 3-4 years, or just give someone else to be on the field when he's not there. I feel like they've kind of found Dallas has kind of found that spot a little bit there. Kind of blanking on the linebacker's name now.
Van Der Esch.
Yes, Van Der Esch. Thank you.
I only remember him because of his giant. He's got one of those giant head things.
The neck guard, or that where he can't snap his neck back.
Yeah, Sean Lee probably told him to wear that.
Probably.
He's bro, just trust me.
But yeah, Sean Lee out of Penn State. He was a big name there. But yeah, that was back when Penn State was still considered linebacker U. So
they got Parsons this year, so at least they kind of got one back.
A little bit. Parsons played a lot of defensive end. He was that that linebacker on the line a lot of times. So
that 3-4 defense. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad he's calling it quits now. He's he only had 9 games last year. He probably felt good after playing a full season in 2019, and then 2020 he was just really limited, and it probably just like he came to the realization it's like it's too much work now. Like time to go.
It's unfortunate, but
right.
Yeah, everyone has to move on eventually. Just so everyone gets reminded, Orlando Brown was traded to the Chiefs from the Ravens. Basically, the Chiefs only dropped back like not even a full round of draft picks because we got the Ravens second round draft pick.
Yeah, it's
so
like
they went from like 31 to 26. So they dropped like no spots virtually. It's like they dropped a little bit, but
yeah, they dropped back 26 spots, I think.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it's still not bad.
You get a Pro Bowl offensive tackle to move back 26 spots. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I think it's a great move for the Chiefs. I'm a little questioning about how the Ravens are going to, play out with that 31st overall pick. Because the biggest thing with Orlando Brown leaving Baltimore was he wanted to play left tackle there, and they have their left tackle, so he played a lot of right, and he didn't want to. So that was kind of the fuel of the trade there to the Chiefs, is that the Chiefs were looking for a left tackle, and so they're going to get a good left tackle. Now, does this bite the Ravens in the tail? Down the road when they have to, their questionable defensive line has to go against a star-studded offensive tackle against the Chiefs, and they can't get anywhere around him because they traded him to, the competition.
Awkward.
I don't know. Awkward. but yeah, so I think it's a little questionable, I think, for the Ravens to not try and work that out a little bit better. I get why they didn't want to put him at left tackle. But this is an absolute win-win for the Chiefs right now because they are going to pay him on his, he's going to stay at his current contract for this year, and then then they have the contract negotiations start then. So really, it's Orlando Brown for a year. Like they're basically leasing him if they want to. The Chiefs could be like, "Nah, you're okay, but we're not going to pay you top dollar. So yeah, catch you later."
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they do in the draft. If they get like one of those, if they use that second round draft pick on another offensive tackle, and that, hey, just sit behind Orlando this year, and then we're gonna drop him drop him, and then and then put you in that spot,
Right.
So people are already making. I made the assumption that they were just gonna pay him this year, but then they came out with the report that Orlando said he would play on his 5th year on his rookie's contract. I was shocked to hear that because I think like you said, the big deal was the position switch. And I think if they made him switch positions, he wanted to be paid to switch positions, which they were not okay with doing. So, big news there. Yeah, the Chiefs are doing well. God, just like the Bucks, the Chiefs and Bucks just seem to they just get whoever they want for players. Just a bunch of garbage. So we're gonna get into our draft stuff. And like obviously the one big thing going on right now is Kyle Shanahan, and people are just asking him who are you going to take? Who are you going to take? And all we're getting is reports and smoke. So it's hard to know who they're going to take. It's either going to be Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones.
Yep.
It's going to be one of those three. And I don't think anyone knows who it's going to be. People are like, oh, scouts are saying Mac Jones. Well, people inside the building are saying Trey Lance. And it's like, well, I think there's some people that still want Justin Fields. Like, no one knows. And we're not going to know. And they're not going to tell us 2 days before the draft who they're taking. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
The one thing that is for certain is we have no idea if we're going to be alive on Sunday.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
Oh.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah.
It's a fair point. Thank you, Kyle.
Oh.
When I heard that, I was like, this dude got high before this press conference. Like, I could just imagine him sitting up in his press conference chair and he's like, you know what, man? We could just die. Like, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be our starting quarterback. We could all be dead by then. Who knows, man? Like, he's just tripping up there. I thought that was funny.
That's hysterical.
Let's do a recap to finish out the show, see what's changed, and like lock in our answers here.
Okay.
For your final mock draft.
All right.
I gotta hit buttons and stuff here. Do it.
Clicking buttons, changing screens.
Why is it not doing it?
I don't know.
Do it. Hold on.
Technology
folks.
is failing. Well, I will say that our top 6, I'm gonna lock at least the top 6 up.
All right, can I zoom in on this at all? Is there a zoom button?
Yep. Go up to the top by the print, and then to the right of that.
Oh, zoom!
Hey!
There we go. Look at that.
We have technology.
What if I go to 150? Oh, even better.
There you go.
Nice. All right. So let's do our recap here. We're locking this in.
Yep.
This is what Durf has, and we're going to do the show next week if we're alive by then. The show next week, we'll see how many that we got right. I should probably make my own so we can compare, but I don't care about the draft that much. So take me on a journey, Durf. A draft journey. Well,
number 1 and 2 are pretty much guaranteed. With Trevor Lawrence, I think the entire, maybe the world stops when Jacksonville takes Zach Wilson instead of Trevor Lawrence. Because Urban Meyer has had Zoom calls between the two of them to figure out, is Trevor Lawrence, like, why is he really still considered the number 1 quarterback? That would be a shocker. Or, just throw a wrench in there. Well, Justin Fields goes number 1.
Imagine that world.
Ohio State quarterback going to a former Ohio State coach.
You see, this is the thing that happens a couple days before the draft. Like, it's a lock. Like, we know who the first pick's going to be, but then the week of the draft, people are like, "Oh, but he's been having Zoom calls with Zach Wilson. Oh, what about the Ohio State connection with?" And then we're all sitting there on the edge of our seat, like, "Who's going to be the first overall pick?" And Rodger Goodell goes, "Trevor Lawrence." Everyone's just like, "Yeah, that makes sense." every year that happens. So
yeah. So
I'm gonna stick with Trevor, but
yeah,
I'll have fun with the storylines. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it's Trevor for sure. I think if they don't, then I think that isn't a very good start for Urban Meyer. That's gonna make his his coaching contract a lot shorter.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bad
but Zach Wilson definitely to the Jets. So the 49ers, I know last time I said I was all on Justin Fields. It
could still happen.
It could still happen.
It could still happen.
I'm still hearing, talk of Justin Fields to the 49ers is still a possibility. But the most common person right now that I have seen to the 49ers is Mac Jones. And there's too many rights as to for the 49ers to take Mac Jones than there are wrongs. So I have made the switch, and we're taking Mac Jones at 3.
Do you want to do a pie to the face on that still, or are you just gonna we're just gonna accept the fate and be like, all right, well, I agree with you now. Like, since you've made the switch pre-draft, right. I think we're safe now.
I think we're safe now
until they take Justin Fields, and then you'd be like, hey, you got to take a pie to the face. So since you made the switch, we'll just drop the bet.
Yeah, I made the switch. It makes sense. And then, Atlanta is taking the best player available, basically.
Maybe the best player in the draft.
Close,
Maybe.
Yeah. With Kyle Pitts. So I think that's a very easy pick for them to take. But then, the Bengals taking Penei Sewell, that's a absolutely no-brainer. The Dolphins taking Jamar Chase, that's absolute no-brainer. There's been a lot of talk of the Alabama receivers going to the Dolphins instead. You could see, a defensive player going to Miami instead. I think it's going to be Jamar Chase. That 1 through 6, that is about the the most consistent I've seen in the past week or so in mock drafts, and it makes sense. Does that mean the draft's going to be boring? No, because we absolutely know that Atlanta has been fielding calls, Cincinnati has been fielding calls, Miami has been fielding calls, for trade, for teams wanting to trade up. So, obviously this is a no trade, theory scenario situation with my mock draft. So, as the teams sit, this is what I have taking. But then, then we get another, then we start seeing, the Heisman Trophy winner at 7 with the Lions with Devonta Smith. Makes sense. I saw a lot of Micah Parsons at 7. But Devonta Smith's he's kind of honing in there at that, at that 7 spot. Panthers with Rashawn Slater at 8. It makes sense. Help Sam Darnold out by, fortifying that line. They went to super heavy defense last year, with the rookies. So now they're going to switch to the other side, build from the trenches out. Makes sense. There is the question, is it Sewell or Slater who are, the better offensive tackle? I think it's Sewell, hands down. I think he's probably going to be a better fit for Cincinnati. So, but I like, LaShawn Slater. I think he's a good fit for Carolina as well. Obviously we see a quarterback starting to slide a little bit, which is where I have, Justin Fields at 9 for Denver. That's another trade. That's another trade spot where we could see a team move up. But I think Denver is a good spot for Justin Fields because I think it's a good quarterback competition. It seems like a kind of a weird pick. I feel like for them, they could take other positions to, help this team get better because they went so skill heavy. Let's go on that line, let's build the defense back up. But I like Justin Fields at Denver. I think I think it might push Drew Lock, and either we're going to get a better Drew Lock out of Denver, or he's going to completely collapse, and then we'll have Justin Fields for 6 games at the end of the season, and then it'll be Justin Fields' team to continue on.
Yeah, I think that's really the only snag. Like if Denver doesn't take him, and if New England ends up trading up to do something weird, well, I feel like those are the only 2 teams that'll end up taking Justin Fields. And if that happens, then I can see him easily going into day 2. Right. It's weird. So, I don't know why. That's what we have.
Yeah. Yep. So, Patrick Surtain at 10 for Dallas. That is besides the first 6, that has been the number 1 pick I have seen on 99.5% of my mock drafts that I've been looking at for the Cowboys. If they don't pick him, then there's a problem with the Cowboys organization other than the normal problems.
Good old Jerry.
I know Jerry's in love with Kyle Pitts. So if they somehow decide to move up, or if Kyle Pitts starts to fall, look out for the Cowboys to take a tight end there. But this is where it kind of had to get a little interesting. There wasn't a couple, clear choices here for me when I'm looking to see what teams need. So, Gregory Rousseau, edge, I think that's a good pickup for the Giants. We need a defense to complement that offense that they're trying to build here in the Giants organization. So I think that's a good pickup there. Jalen Waddle at Philadelphia. For Philadelphia, I think that's another good pickup. Help the Eagles kind of build around Jalen Hurts, which I think makes sense. But then you see some offensive tackles going through for the Chargers and Minnesota. New England is definitely questionable. Micah Parsons has been the top pick. You're seeing a lot of picks here. The first round is very defensive heavy, from what I've seen, And I think it'll really depend on how teams move in the first round is going to depend on, I think, how, what teams make a run on certain skill players.
Happens all the time.
Right. Like
as soon as that first edge player goes, then all of them go.
Then there's going to be a run on them or something. I think it's going to be the same with offensive tackles this year. I feel like a lot of teams want that, get some younger offensive linemen for their younger quarterbacks, or to help solidify, for a team that's, runs the ball a lot, like Minnesota. But yeah.
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not from Strikeout Beer. I feel like it's not, but knowing them, but not excited.
But yeah, using the periods probably makes it a little sarcastic. But yeah,
I mean, my least favorite thing on here that I hope doesn't happen is J.C. Horn going to Arizona. The Seahawks do not need that in their life.
So one thing I don't have on the first round is Trey Lance.
I mean, if Justin Fields is falling, then Trey Lance will fall as well. I don't know.
Right.
Man.
And so I feel like those two could be interchangeable.
Right. One of them is going to fall to the second round.
Yep.
I feel like that's a guarantee.
There just wasn't a consensuous, spot for him to land, when I ran my formulas. So I think between those two, it's going to be very tricky. But then I think if you have teams moving, then obviously Trey Lance jumps up the board, if a team is, looking for a quarterback. So, yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. And then, we'll obviously recap this in a little bit more detail next week just to make sure, see where teams landed on people, how many we got right, overall draft grades, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Real quick before we end the show, don't expect too much from us with draft grades.
Right.
Draft grades are trash.
Yeah.
Just so you know. How do you grade a class that hasn't taken a snap yet?
Right.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
They could all be dead before we even get a draft grade out there. So
that's true.
You never know. Well, that's it for the show this week. Thank again our guest Isabell. I don't want to say her last name because I know I'll get it wrong. Very much appreciate her coming on here and educating us on some foreign sports, and we're hoping her journey to the San Diego team works out well. And this has been the show. Next week is going to be a little bit of a draft recap. I would say we'll be back next week, but
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
But if we are alive on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, we will be back next week because
Mama didn't raise no wusses.